Hello, everyone. This is Mike, and this is my brother Mark, and we're going to be continuing our talk on the tribes of Israel. And we have to talk about how they were organized in their camp with the tabernacle. So the tabernacle was in the center of everything, and that's where the Lord had, was supposed to dwell at that time, because they were moving. They hadn't fully got their land yet, and we're talking about Numbers chapter 2. We're going to quickly go to Numbers chapter 2. It talks about how they were organized. And now, again, the tabernacle was in the very center, and so obviously the tribe that was in the center were the different tribes of Levi. And to the south was the Kohathites. Of the south of the tabernacle was the Kohathites, and they had 8,600 numbered at that time. And then there was on the left, or to the west side, was the Gershonites, which was 7,500 people or souls numbered on for them. And then we have in the north, to the north side of it, was the Merarites, and there were 6,200 numbered there. And on the east side was Moses and Aaron. So the specific descendants of Moses and Aaron, well, basically Moses and Aaron at this time, and his sons, and that was in the east of, or right to, of the tabernacle. And so we start in Numbers chapter 2, and so the east portion of the camp was led by the tribe of Judah, which was actually the largest tribe of the time. So we're going to go to Numbers 2, verse 2. I'll get my brother to read.
The reason why we're looking at this is because it's almost a near mirror image of their possessions when they did would come into the promised land. Just as the things that are central pretty much remain central as they move forward. Reason we mentioned the Levites first is because there's no land or possessions numbered with them or for them. So we have to follow them through their names and their name derivatives, as we said before. So we have to look at this. This is also the first time where they begin to use the families and the heraldry, and this is where this begins and where it continues. So I'll just read the scriptures here. I'll just start in Numbers chapter 2, verse 2. Every man of the children of Israel, so pitched by his own standard, with the ensign of their father's house, far off about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch.
So it says their ensign or their sign, and that would have been, for example, for Judah, it would have been the lion. So they would have had that ensign pitch, so they would know that's the tribe of Judah. And so this is the beginning of the heraldry. So we'll continue.
So these are these are the symbols that we were speaking of in the earlier videos. So now we know what ensigns and symbols they're speaking of. So we'll continue. And on the east side, toward the rising of the sun, so they of the standard of the camp of Judah pitched throughout their armies. And it also mentions, and Nashon, the son of Abinadab, shall be captain of the children of Judah. I don't think I'll mention all the captains and the leaders of each group, because that's not really what we're going to focus on in this discussion.
But the point is, it said there's 314,600, and that adds up to 74,600. So they were the largest tribe, the largest single tribe, and so that's important to note at this point. So let's continue.
Yes, I'll just restart in verse 5. And those that do pitch next unto him shall be the tribe of Issachar, and the son of Zur shall be captain of the children of Issachar, and his host, and those that were numbered thereof were 54,400.
So Issachar was, well, with Judah in the east side, and then there was, I believe, the next tribe is Zebulun.
Yes, the tribe of Zebulun, and Eliab the son of Helon shall be captain over the children of Zebulun.
And there was 57,400 of them. So that's the east side of the tabernacle. So they had three tribes, and Issachar and Zebulun. Issachar was happened to follow fairly close to where Zebulun ended up.
Yes.
So that's something to know, that a lot of these groupings, they kind of followed each other, and still when they left the Holy Land, when they were taken out, they kind of followed along each other, and with these, and so knowing these groups is actually quite relevant, and that's why we want to talk about them.
Of course,
So,
each of these three groups was actually numbered as an entire group as a whole, as we'll read in verse 9. And all that were numbered in the camp of Judah were 100,000, 80,000, and 6,400 throughout their armies. These shall first set forth.
So if they were led into battle and they were going to carry the tabernacle, they were the first to go out, and Judah would have led the attack. So that's important to know. Yeah, thanks for that point.
In fact, this tradition continued till actually fairly recently, because the tribes, many of the tribes, even when they were had kingdoms all over the world, their kings would go into battle with them. So these leaders and these captains, these names they mentioned, these are the people that would actually go into battle with them. And that's also something that we can see here. And now we'll continue. On the south side shall be the standard of the camp of Ruben, according to his
Ruben
numbers.
led the south. Reuben was the firstborn, so he was also fairly important actually at this stage here. Reuben had still been a very important tribe, and it had I forget the numbers. It was not as substantial as
Yes, it
Judah.
was not as much. It was only 46,500. And those which pitched by them shall be of Simeon. The captain of the children of Simeon shall be Shelumiel, the son of Urishadai. I don't know if I got that right. My apologies. And the hosts, and those that were numbered of them, were 59,300.
So it's interesting. Actually, the tribe of Simeon was actually fairly numerable at this point before they had not been fully scattered in Judah and the rest of the tribes. So at this point, they actually were more numerable even than Reuben, which was interesting.
And then the tribe of Gad, and the captain of the sons of Gad, and his host, and those who were numbered by them. What was Gad's numbers?
45,650 around there.
Great.
So,
And of course, then again, it lists the number of the entire group over the tribe of Ruben. That were come with that group, the southern group, that they also have a number for all of them. And that was also over 100,000 people.
okay, very interesting. So we have about over 100 for the first group, the eastern group, and the southern group has over 100,000 as well, which is interesting. And we can see that the tribe of Simeon, a lot of times the tribe of Simeon or Shimon, they ended up actually following along closely around Reuben too. So where Reuben was found, actually the tribe of Simeon was actually close to them as well. And so we find some of the tribe of Simeon in southwestern France, or should say northwestern or southwestern area of France. I think it was the far northwest. And the rest, a good portion of France, especially the central part, had strong tribe of Reuben influence. So yeah, they followed together, close together. when they ended up where they ended up finally. So that's interesting note to make.
All right, we'll continue in verse 17. Then the tabernacle of the congregation set forward with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camp. As they encamp, so shall they set forward, every man in his place by their standards. So here is our understanding. This is why you find the tribe of Levites all over where the children of Israel went, because even in the beginning they were encamped in and around and near them. So we can see why it's very difficult to track down where all the Levites went and who they are and where they went. And this is why. So this is an example of that. So now we're going to read about who is in the west. On the west side shall be the standard of the camp of Ephraim, according to their armies, and the captain of sons of Ephraim. And his hosts, and those that were numbered of them, were 40,500. But this is not the entire tribe of Joseph. This is just Ephraim. And by him shall be the tribe of Manasseh, the captain of Manasseh, and his hosts that were numbered of them were 32,200.
So the tribe of Joseph had close to the same number as the tribe of Judah, which was interesting,
But if you add up both of those tribes, it's actually the largest.
no, actually still a little bit slightly under.
Is it?
Actually,
Okay.
But
But it's more substantial.
yeah. But we'll see later on that the tribe with the most people is actually the tribe of Joseph. That's going to tie in with some prophecies given to the tribe of Joseph.
It ties in with the blessing, because Joseph got the blessing from the complete blessing, and this is the proof of that. So here we'll continue, and with Ephraim, by him shall be the tribe of Manasseh and the other people, and then the tribe of Benjamin, the captain of the sons of Benjamin, and his hosts, and those who were numbered with them were 35,400.
So this is actually a small tribe. Were always a sort of a smaller tribe, Benjamin. But Benjamin was put in with this group because they were the other their other son of Rachel. So, they were brothers. So
Yes.
Joseph and Benjamin were brothers. And so they split up. Ephraim and tribe of Joseph got split up between Ephraim and Manasseh. And then we have also Benjamin. That's why we had him with the west side, with Ephraim being the lead. And that's important. Ephraim being the lead would say that the crowns would be upon them later on. So there would be a majorly important royalty that come out of Ephraim. And that's interesting as well. That's some future prophecy for Ephraim. We're going to talk about the tribe of Joseph shortly if we have time, but we're going to continue on.
And then we read about the north. And the standard of the camp, and they were and the camp of Dan shall be on the north side by their armies. And the captain of children of Dan and his hosts that were numbered of them were 62,700. So that's a higher number, fairly decent number.
Yeah, they had a pretty good number here. They were the lead tribe of the north. They had 62,700 souls who were there. They were a bigger tribe of the north.
And those that encamp by him shall be the tribe of Asher, and captain of the children of Asher shall be Pagiel the son of Okran. I didn't mention all those names just for the sake of time, and we'll just continue with verse 28.
We have Naphtali.
And the host of them were numbered with them 41,500. This is our numbers for Asher.
And then we have, lastly, Naphtali.
Yes,
Should be the last
and the
one.
tribe of Naphtali, the captain of the children of Naphtali. And his hosts that were numbered of them were 53,400. And they all the camp were numbered with Dan. At each camp, for each the north, the south, east, and the west, they were all had their separate numbers for their groups. but they also had the numbers for them individually. And then we'll read again about Levites. All of them that were numbered in the camp of Dan were, over 100,000 again. So basically, each group is over 100,000. And these are which numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers. All were 600,000, 3,550. So this is the full number of the tribe of Israel at the time. But the Levites were not numbered among the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the children of Israel did according to all the Lord commanded Moses. So they pitched their standards, and so they went forward, every one of their families according to the house of their fathers. So there you go.
Yeah, so that gives you a rough thing. And of course, Dan, Asher, and Naphtali, all three of those tribes were closely followed each other, and they were seafaring, and they were used to being by the sea and by the lakes, and fishing and shipping, and they ended up in the north, the far north. They were in the northern camp, and they ended up in the far north, which is very interesting. And then the tribe of Manasseh and Ephraim ended up in the far west, in America, which is very interesting. And then, of course, we have eastern tribes, like, or I should say the southern tribes of Ruben. He was further down south, like in France. And the central area was more like in the British Isles. And so, of course, France is south of the British Isles. And so that was interesting, another very interesting point. So they sort of kept to their area where they were. And of course, Judah was in the Middle East, so they're east. So they kept fairly similar to where they actually were, even in their camps, which I find very extraordinary, very interesting. And how they even in the groups that they sort of followed each other, even from these groupings to where they would end up in Europe, in North and Western Europe, and in the Isles of Far Off, and which would include the desolate heritages, which would be given to Joseph, which include America, which is Western Manasseh. America has had when it early settled, the first settlers of America were predominantly from the tribe of Manasseh, and Ephraim were the tribe of Joseph. So there were predominantly people from those two tribes, and Manasseh in particular. And so you have the heraldry in America for the tribe of Manasseh all over in their flag and their emblems. And I think that's very interesting. So this is the western portion. And so the camps kind of mirror, very interestingly, where all the different tribes ended up. So I believe this is enough information for now, and we were going to start looking at the tribe of Joseph, which was split up in two because of the blessing that Jacob gave. He gave Ephraim the full blessing over Manasseh, but Manasseh was the firstborn, but Ephraim was the one who got the full blessing. And so we'll start with Ephraim. But so sometimes Ephraim is used to describe not only just the whole tribe of Joseph, but sometimes Ephraim is used to describe the 10 tribe Israel, okay, which would have excluded Judah and Benjamin and half tribe of Levi. So that's an important thing. So sometimes in prophecy, when they say Ephraim, that's what they mean. So and they're not just specifically saying the tribe of Ephraim there. So we have to read the context of the scriptures carefully to make sure we get that right, because it's important to, when we look at prophecy, to know what it's talking about, who it's talking about, because that's very important when we study prophecy. So I think we'll leave it there, and God bless you, everyone.
God bless.
And look forward to sharing you about the tribe of Ephraim. That's where we'll start for next time. All right. God bless.